In this lesson, I'm going to ramp up melodic development. I'm going to take it up to another level by showing you how to invert a simple phrase. Then I'm going to show you how to take these inversions and hang them on every degree of every chord. So you'll be able to adjust the phrase and make it fit anywhere, anytime, on any chord, which is going to give you more variations than I can count by the time you get done with all the possibilities. So this is going to absolutely explode your vocabulary without having to learn a bunch of new material. So rather than learning a ton of different licks, all you really have to do is learn how to understand how to take one small thing and develop it thematically, which is going to get you way more mileage. This particular lesson is part of the melodic development that I've been doing, and it's lesson 3. So if you find yourself getting lost, just go into the playlist that this is in, and you'll see all the other lessons in chronological order. Otherwise, let's get into it. So in the last lesson, I used the book Chromatic Approach to Melodic Development. And if you have that book, great. And if you don't have that book, don't worry about it. I'm going to take the PDFs and I'm going to put it on Patreon so you'll be able to see what's going on. But what I did, just as a quick review, is I took this simple phrase over the C major scale. And the phrase was, using Barry Harris's approach to the major scale, and if you don't know that, you're going to need to know that. Up a third, up a chord. D, D sharp, D, D sharp, E, G, B, D. What I'm going to do today is show you how to take that one simple idea and invert it. Now you're going to get 4 times that, just built off the root. So this is what it is off the root. Now the next step is to invert it. So the original is up a third, up a chord. You can also do this up an octave. Okay, so up a third, up a chord. Now we're going to invert it. So the first inversion of this that I'm going to show you is, instead of up a third, up a chord, now we're going to do up a third, down a chord. So this is going to look like C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. So we connect C to E. And now we're going to descend a chord. And you can finish that phrase however you want. There's no harmonic context right now, so I don't know where I'm going to go from here. But let's just assume this is a C major 7 chord. You can just resolve it. You can extend the phrase or you can resolve it. But here's an example of resolving it. That's a simple one. Or something like that. Okay, so that's up a third, down a chord. The second inversion I'm going to do is down a third, down a chord. So what I'm going to do, just starting on the root of C major 7. So C is going to want to connect down to A. C, D, B, B flat, A. Once we get to A, we're going to descend a chord. A, F, D, B. So now the whole thing looks like this. So that's down a third, down a chord. Then we can invert it one more time by doing down a third, up a chord. So C to A again, but now up a chord. So the whole thing is C, D, B, B flat, A, C, E, G. So now what used to be this one phrase, up a third, up a chord, has now also got 3 other variations that you can do. Up a third, down a chord, down a third, down a chord, or down a third, up a chord. So now, just with that one little idea, now you can turn that idea into 4 other ideas. And then not only that, Now we can hang this idea and its other three partners, these inversions of that idea, on every single degree of every chord. So in other words, we could hang 4 different phrases on the root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13th of C major 7. And the root, 3rd, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 of every other chord from the major scale. That means D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, and C. So 28 times 7, whatever that comes out to. That's how many variations of this idea. The numbers get ridiculous after a while. And this is just the unaltered chord families. This doesn't have to do with the altered chord families. Minor 7 flat 5s as 2 chords, altered dominants, minor major 7 chords. None of that. We haven't even gotten to that part yet. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I've shown you, let's review real quick. You can go up a third, up a chord, up a third, down a chord, down a third, down a chord, down a third, up a chord. Those are the 4 variations of this one idea. Now I'm going to show you how to hang all 4 of these on each of the chord tones. So it's going to require a little bit of alteration. But like I said, I personally would rather understand how a phrase works and how to alter it in the moment in order to fit the harmony than sit around worrying about memorizing a ton of licks. So let's do up a third, up a chord from the root, up a third, up a chord from the 3rd, from the 5th, from the 7th, from the 9th, from the 11th, I'm going to drop it down an octave, and from the 13th. Now let's hang every single one of the first inversion on all of the scale degrees. So now we'll start up a third, down a chord, and we'll start on the root. Now we'll start on the 3rd. Now I'll start on the 5th. Now I'll start on the 7th. Now I'll start on the 9th. Now I'll start on the 11th. Now I'll start on the 13th. That's the first inversion. Here's the second inversion. Down a third, down a chord. Let's do it on the root. Now let's do it on the 7th. I'm sorry. Well, that is the 7th, but okay. Now let's do it from the 5th. And then we already did the 7th, root 3. Now let's do the second inversion. Down a third, down a chord. Let's do it from the root. Third. Fifth. 7th. 9th. 11th. And then 13th. And then, now let's do the last inversion. Down a third, up a chord. Starting on the root. Now from the 3rd. Now from the 5th. Now from the 7th. Now from the 9th. Now from the 11th. Now from the 13th. So as you can see, just one little germ of an idea can blow up into countless ideas. And then what you want to do is you want to practice that. You want to take the simple idea up a third, up a chord, and you want to run it through all the chords. I wouldn't think about it like scale patterns, because the problem with scale patterns is it's all about where you're starting and it's not about where you're leading to. And where you're leading to is way more important than the note that you're starting on. That's a whole other discussion that I'll get into at another time, but you want to take the simple idea up a third, up a chord, and be able at any given chord tone, root 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, you want to be able to hang that idea anywhere on that chord on C major 7. Then you want to be able to hang that idea anywhere on D minor 7 and G7 and E minor 7, F major 7, every single chord in that scale source. You want to be able to hang it anywhere without thinking about it. And you want to hear how it relates to the chord. So that's a ton. That's a ton for today. So just work on that. And like I said, the book gets way into that and has everything all laid out and explained. But if you don't have the book, don't worry about it. I'll put a basic PDF, which will give you at least the gist and the idea of it. Otherwise, I'll be back next week and we'll get into some more crazy melodic development. All right, later.